Listen-only mode.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, How to Draw a Crowd at BIO. Thank you for joining us today to discuss how to draw a crowd at BIO by hosting a breakout session or a company presentation at the 2013 BIO International Convention. My name is Sarah Sneeringer and I'm Director of Programs at BIO. Today's agenda will focus on an overview of the BIO International Convention, who is your audience at this event, reasons to lead a breakout session, what BIO looks for in a session proposal, tips for creating a strong session proposal, and company presentations, as well as branding opportunities. The BIO International Convention is the most productive week all year long for the biotech industry. This year's convention will be held April 22nd through 25th in Chicago, Illinois. As some of the industry veterans may know, that's a few months earlier than it's been in the past. Some of the key convention elements that our convention has to offer is a world-class education program, the infamous BIO one-on-one partnering system, evening and networking events, as well as the BIO exhibition. Our attendees come from a global audience. Over 43% of our attendees are executive management and C-level. We have over 80% of our attendees are the lead decision makers in their organizations. I would like to state that these numbers are projections for this year, as we're still awaiting the final numbers from the 2012 convention. A diverse group of organizations attend the BIO International Convention. The academic and research community is a growing segment within BIO. This year's convention in 2012 featured the first BIO academic zone in the exhibition hall floor. There's biotech companies, pharmaceutical companies, a large group of service providers. This is the makeup of the people that are actually attending the BIO International Convention. I'd also like to note, and I think this is important specifically from a programmatic aspect, that 30% of the attendees are from outside the U.S. 65 countries are represented. When we look for good session submissions, we're looking for topics that are seen from a global aspect to represent the actual attendance at our convention. So why submit a breakout session? What does this mean to you, and what does this mean to your company? BIO provides broad media exposure. We have over 3,000 unique visitors to convention.bio.org, which is our convention website, over 500 million media impressions, targeted marketing to 120,000 plus industry leaders. BIO offers a great marketing resource and communications team. We have staff on hand that are ready at any given moment to help you be able to promote your company within the convention, your participation, whether it's a breakout session, an exhibition, or just regular branding of your company. The BIO at Convention, which has 4.2 million impressions, which is our Twitter account. We also have close to 27.5 million impressions through LinkedIn and Twitter. Establish yourself as an international expert on the industry's most pressing issues. The stage leading a breakout session offers you an open audience of biotech executives to share your expertise on your part of the industry and what's changing in the industry, latest trends in the industry. Leading a session allows you to build crucial dialogue with your audience through multiple interactive education formats. BIO is working hard to make sure that our education is cutting edge to give you a great forum and format to present your ideas. And it also gives you a forum to spark creative conversations with the biotech community through innovative industry topics. BIO is a leading organization in the biotech industry. Our convention is where all the decision makers are. They're sitting in the session rooms, and it provides a captive audience for you to provide your expert and insight to. I'd now like to pass the mic to Sarah Kabari, Manager of Programs, who's going to go into a little bit more in depth about what we actually look for in breakout session submissions. Sarah is the expert on breakout sessions in the submission process. She manages the program for the Bio International Convention.
Great. Thank you, Sarah, for the nice intro. Like Sarah said, I just wanted to go over a few key items if you are interested in submitting a breakout session proposal for the 2013 convention. First and foremost, I just want to make sure you're all aware that we have created something called our Call for Sessions guide. And this guide is something we created for all of you that will provide you with all the resources you will need to submit a session proposal. It's a great resource, and it provides you step-by-step instructions even on how to use our online proposal form, through track definitions, FAQs, etc. So I would highly recommend checking out our guide and reviewing it before you even start creating your proposal, so you can kind of get a sense of what we're looking for. And just a reminder, you can find this guide on convention.bio.org/pitch, and it will also be located on our online submission site. So you can find this in two areas, and our online submission site will be posted on August 23rd. But I just wanted to go over a few more items, like the purpose of sessions. So the purpose of our breakout sessions is to increase awareness of certain areas of biotechnology. We want you to share new information, provide important lessons learned, useful tips that attendees can use, and we actually offer 125 plus breakout sessions on various areas. So later in my discussion, I will cover some of the tracks we're looking for in our breakout sessions. But just to give you kind of a background information of what exactly how our sessions are graded, we have a program committee that grades all of our sessions and selects our sessions, and this committee is compiled of representatives from large and small biotech companies, universities, financial and venture capital firms, healthcare, trade publications, and this year our program chairs are John Flavin from Flavin Ventures and Eric Pierce, he's a publisher at BioCentury. And so when our committee is grading our sessions, there are certain things they look for. So just so you're aware, they're looking for education value, topic timeliness, will this session or this proposal still be timely in April, subject matter appeal, the appropriate audience. Like Sarah said earlier, we have a certain number of managers, C-level, so just be aware of when you're creating this proposal of who our target audience is. Speaker qualifications and expertise. You will notice when you, if you do send in a proposal on our online submission form, we actually request the speaker's biography, and this is very useful for our committee so we can tell what's the background information, is this person actually the appropriate person to talk on this subject area. And then the final is newsworthiness and novelty. This year we're changing the style of our formats, so our session times have decreased from 90 minutes to 60 to 75 minutes, and this includes Q&A, and the reason we shortened our times is to help with our formatting. And so you can choose between 4 session formats, and 3 of our format sessions are new this year. If you spoke in the past, you probably noticed a lot of panel discussions, and so this year we're trying to make it more interactive, so we're offering dialogue, interview, and single presenter. So when you're creating your proposal, make sure you're aware of the session formats and choose the one that best suits your subject area. And so if you have, let's say, one of your proposals, you need multiple perspectives, you wouldn't want to select an interview style since you're going to only have one perspective, since you're going to have one moderator that's constantly probing questions. So you would probably want to select more of a panel format or a dialogue format. So just be aware of all of our formats, and again, each format, the full description is located in our session guide. So if you're a little bit confused on which one you would like to select, there shows a detailed definition in our guide. And if you decide to change it after the fact, our programs team will help you make sure your program is addressed accurately. And then, so our next picture, this is kind of a snapshot of what our room typically looks like. And this is from the 2012 convention. And you'll notice there's a panel setting up there with one moderator and 4 speakers. So this year we're actually, like I said, in our quest to make our sessions more interactive, we're changing the stage set. So how you see the table there, we're not going to have a table this coming year, and this is going to help us, like I said, be allowed to incorporate the other formats. So it's going to be more or less Oprah-style seating, which is just the chairs, and to make it more engaging with the audience. But so this is just a sample so you could see what a typical session room looks like. The next thing I would like to discuss are tips for creating a strong proposal. Number 1, you want to know your requirements. And again, all the requirements involved are located in our Call for Sessions guide. And then 2, you want to make sure your proposal stands out. We receive numerous proposals. So ways you can make it stand out is make your subject title stand out from the crowd, is be creative. And, you know, create creative titles, make it more appealing. Just if you were to read a proposal, you know, what would be of interest to you, what would stand out to you. And so we encourage you to submit hot, cutting-edge topics and legislation and new emerging topics. And then, will your topic be timely? Is it relevant to BIO's audience? Again, make sure you're reaching our key target audience. And then, will your topic be timely in April? So again, you know, even if it's coming down the pike and maybe legislation hasn't passed yet, if you know it's going to pass, let's say in December, that might be a good subject area to propose on your proposal. So if you are interested in finding out more about our past hot topics or areas that we received a lot of attendance, please check our website. We have a list of all past programs just to give you an idea of what topics we were interested in the past, and what our committee is usually looking into. And again, I want you to make sure you select the appropriate track. We offer 13 tracks, and so the track definitions are also located in our Call for Sessions guide. So before you create your proposal, make sure your proposal coincides with one of the tracks, and so you'll most likely have better odds of being accepted if your proposal matches one of the tracks. So you don't want to propose something that's just way off topic and not pertaining to the BIO's audience. And then you want to make sure you invite and confirm top quality speakers. Again, our program committee, usually if they have one outlier, it's usually if all the speakers aren't confirmed. So I would highly suggest start reaching out to all of your suggested speakers as soon as you start creating your proposal and figuring out who you'd like to invite, because when you go onto the submission form, you're going to have an option to choose whether your speaker was invited, confirmed, or not invited. And so if you put not invited or maybe invited, if the committee was comparing that to a strong proposal or maybe on the same level as your proposal and sees that the other proposal has all confirmed speakers, they're more likely to pick the confirmed speaker proposal. So I would highly suggest reaching out as soon as possible to your proposed speakers and firming them up before you even submit your proposal. And then the next thing is completely fill out your form. A lot of times some of our submitters may not completely fill out the form, and occasionally sometimes our program committee doesn't think they're really committed to that proposal, so you want to make sure you come across as committed by completely filling out every single question and as much as you can, or as much information as you have. And then another thing too, with the objectives that you create on your proposal, make sure you can meet your objectives. You know, again, the sessions are only 60 to 75 minutes, so if the proposal you're suggesting is something that could take 2 hours to discuss, then they may see it as, you know, this is unlikely that they can fit this in this amount of time. So just be aware of what you're submitting and what objectives that you plan on putting on your proposal form. And then review questions to consider, and we're going to go over that in the next few slides. But right now I just wanted to cover, like I was saying earlier, being creative with your session titles and descriptions. Well, these are some examples of previous titles. So, you know, there's all different types. You know, you have straight to the point titles. You can, some of the titles you can create could be in a question format, action phrases, clever and catchy. You just want to make sure you describe a title that best describes the subject area that you plan on presenting at the convention. Again, a list of all of these titles or previous titles will be located on the convention.bio.org site/pitch. So you could see some of the titles that were accepted and the subject areas. But now I want to go over a few questions to consider. So before developing your proposal, you should consider and be able to answer the following questions. You want to answer, what are my objectives in organizing this session? Do I have the resources to successfully organize and execute this session? And this is a good question right here, because a lot of times, you know, we write out our proposal and maybe we see speakers, or we know speakers that we plan on inviting, but for some reason, you know, when we actually get down to it and invite these speakers, you know, they can't fit it in their schedule. They just aren't able to speak on the subject area. So you want to make sure that all of your resources, you can successfully organize any of the proposals into a session. And is the session a good fit for bio? So those are the 3 key questions to consider. And the next page, or now here's the list of all of the available tracks. As you can see, bio has a diverse program with 13 tracks. For our first call, we'll only be seeking proposals in 12 of the 13 tracks. So you'll notice International Case Studies has a separate call. So again, I want you to make sure you're aware that your proposal aligns with the track definition. And again, the track definitions are located on the Call for Sessions guide, and you will find the definitions also on the welcome screen of the submission site. So when you're ready, there'll be an opportunity to see the definitions there. And our International Case Studies call will actually be from October 8th through October 26th, but we'll definitely send more information to all of you once the International Case Study call is available. But right now, we're just looking for proposals in the other 12 tracks. Okay, so now I just want to remind you what you need to do when you're ready to submit. Again, our call opens on August 23rd. And so if you go to the convention.bio.org pitch site starting on the 23rd, you'll be able to submit your proposal. Even though the site opens on August 23rd, you have until September 27th to submit. So let's say if you wanted to start creating your proposal, you can go back and edit it at any time up until that deadline. So let's say you only know what your title and your objectives and your description are in the beginning, you can include that and then save it and come back and finish up with all your speakers and the rest of the information we seek for the proposals. And again, you can submit as many proposals as you like. But please just be aware that each submitted proposal is a commitment to execute that session if your proposal is accepted. But again, we highly recommend, if you have a lot of great ideas and, and on occasion we do accept a lot of multiple proposals from one submitter. So don't think you can't submit more than one proposal. But those are all the comments I have for creating a proposal. If you have any questions at any time, feel free to contact the programs team. But right now, I'm going to pass off the presentation to Sandra Bien. She's in BIO's business development team, and she's going to cover another speaker platform available at the convention. Sandra?
Thanks, Sarah. So my name is Sandra. I work on company presentations in the business development department here at BIO, and I'm going to talk to you about the company presentations, of course, your platform to pitch your company. So in addition to the sessions at the convention that Sarah's been talking about, there's also this other speaking opportunity, the BIO Business Forum company presentations. And for those who may not be familiar with the Business Forum, this is essentially an event within the event where the majority of the partnering one-on-one meetings take place with the BIO one-on-one partnering system. And company presentations are a piece of programming at the Business Forum where companies have 15 minutes to tell their story, what their objectives are, and so on. It can include a Q&A session with the audience. We suggest kind of speaking for 10 minutes, then leaving the remaining time for Q&A if you so wish. They are typically given by the CEO or other C-suite executive, and while company presentations are a programming element of the BIO Business Forum, anyone with a badge can attend. So they are open to all convention attendees. And the audience is still a specific group, but this is helpful to presenters to mention in their outreach with potential partners, media, and so on. It's a little bit easier to say, if you have a badge to the event, you can get in. And on the next slide, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the Business Forum company presentations. Last year we had 180 companies present at the event, again, all doing the 15 minutes. They included a lot of the leading biotech and pharma companies, Genentech and Roche and Sanofi, as well as smaller emerging companies. And again, it's an international convention, so we had a lot of international companies present at the event. We also had patient advocacy groups like the Michael J. Fox Foundation. We had universities, CROs, and CMOs. And while the majority of companies who present do have a strong R&D focus, pipelines, etc., we do see a variety of presenters. So we encourage everyone to apply, let us know what their company is doing, and then we'll review and we'll get back to you. And I'll mention this on the next slide, but we wanted to point out how the presentations fit into the Business Forum and the one-on-one meetings. Last year, we saw that presenting companies received nearly twice as many incoming meeting requests in the system than non-presenting companies. And in terms of scheduled meetings, which are the meetings that actually take place between companies and investors and so on, presenting companies scheduled more than double the amount of partnering meetings than non-presenting companies. So we think that's an important and interesting statistic to tell people who may be considering it, especially if the Business Forum is a vital piece of what you do at convention. This is kind of something to consider. And on the next slide, I'll go a little bit more into that value in presenting at the Business Forum. Again, we saw this increase in activity in the partnering system over the last couple years, but there's also additional exposure that BIO tries to provide, such as recognition in the BIO one-on-one partnering system. When you go and search for a company, a presenting company will be identified. They're listed in My Bio. There's pre-conference and on-site marketing materials and so on. And we really do try our best to tell people that you are participating in the Business Forum as a presenter. And again, as mentioned previously, we find that you receive more requests, schedule more meetings. The one thing that we did for the first time actually this year, we conducted webinars and on-site consultations with Rich Tamero of Keynote Coaching, which was exclusive to presenters. It was free of charge. It's something that you kind of focused on effective presentation skills, so it could also be really carried outside of the business forum as well. And once again, your presentation is open to all convention attendees. And just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the application process. So, you know, Sarah was telling you a lot about the proposals, the call to submit that. And our application process is a little bit different, and it is also completely separate from session proposals. So I think that's a very important distinction. Essentially, you would be going to two different places if you were interested in the company presentation and session proposals. And it's not also, the company presentations obviously are not as focused on your speaker as the sessions are. It is much more about your entire company. And I think, you know, you've been hearing a lot about how the sessions are about the ideas, whereas the company presentations is your platform to talk specifically about your company. So we think that's kind of an important distinction to make, because it's your opportunity to get up there and talk about what it is that you're doing with your organization. And just to give you a couple examples of some of the questions that we asked, is basically just describing what you do, your technology, your mission, your presentation objective, of course, is important to fill out, but again, we really look at your company and what it is that you're doing in the biotech space. If you've received an invitation, because we do send kind of these pre-selected invitations out to companies, if you receive one, you can just confirm with us. There's no need to submit an application for this. But again, if you're not one of those companies, we still encourage you to apply. And there's also this point here that there are registration and presentation fees. You know, I've been saying the Bio Business Forum company presentations. We do require that all presenters participate in the business forum, and there is a presentation fee as well. And you can find this all on the convention.bio.org website. And probably the most important piece about when we're actually going to be starting the applications, that will be January 2nd. That will be posted. You can also email us if you know, you want to be notified when the application opens. And I think one last important point is that while your session proposal is kind of a commitment, you can definitely submit an application, and then we'll be in touch about the status, and you can let us know if that's something that you're interested in pursuing. And again, really just contacting us, just let us know if you have any questions. That's the best way to get a hold of us. And now I'm going to pass it over to Erin. She's the Director of Marketing Operations for the Bio International Convention, and she's going to finish up the webinar.
Thank you, Sandra. So to recap, I think we've covered a lot of great topics regarding how to really make a splash next April in Chicago around, you know, submitting a session. And I think we've touched on some points that are both virtual and in person. So I think the big ask, and the reason why everyone's on the line today, is really you're looking to create a branding experience. You have specific objectives in mind. You have a specific audience you're trying to reach within the biotech space. And I think a fundamental thing that we want you to see us, Bio, the organization, is your partner in how to get creative, how to reach your target audience, and how to essentially make an impact and a lasting impression on our audience, both before the convention, during the convention, and after the convention. So I think obviously the breakout sessions are a huge platform to really get speakers' visibility, companies' visibility, and really get the latest trends out there. So as far as more creativity, more creative ideas go, Bio has a great staff here on hand that's really very well educated and versed in a lot of opportunities and niche ways that you can reach target audience. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of what they are and how we can work with you to customize an experience to reach that audience. So we just have a kind of a high-level list here for you. So most of the people on the line are familiar with Bio. It's a very large event. There's a lot of things going on for specific audiences. So we have a large gala, welcome reception, but we also put on a lot of customized events that can be very specific around a topic, around launching a product, etc. So we really kind of kicked off this big idea last year in Boston, and it's been really successful based on companies' business objectives. So once you kind of start with, we have 9 months to plan, or less actually. Once you kind of start with your business objective, you can work with us to kind of define what makes sense for you in Chicago. So we've talked a lot about breakout sessions, and education programming is obviously a huge component of the convention and why people attend the convention. So we've talked about session tracks. So they're very specific, and they obviously reach a very specific audience. And we have a lot of creative ways that you can get visibility online and in print, both before and during the convention. The next slide has kind of a recap of our new program guide that I'll give an overview on. Regarding special programming, country awareness, like Sarah had mentioned earlier, obviously we are very much a global event. So we have a lot of targeted programming to reach, the big ideas around BRIC countries, etc. So we really, there's a lot of visibility points that we can offer you there. So Sandra went over the third item on my list is the BioBusiness Forum and the one-on-one partnering system. We consider this the game changer in the industry. We are leading, we are the global event in partnering. We are the largest, partnering event in the world. And last year, I know Sandra gave an overview, but we held in 4 days 25,000 one-on-one partnering meetings. So as Sandra mentioned, that's centrally located within the Bio exhibition. So there's meetings happening in the BioBusiness Forum and then also in exhibitor booths. So around this technology and this platform that we've built, we have a number of sponsorship opportunities, a lot of different ways to get a very high-level customer service experience. And then what all of you are looking for is visibility in this kind of VIP area that really is reaching an elite audience. So the next slide kind of talks a little bit more about creative ways that we can help you build your brand at Bio. We offer on-site branding and giveaways. These are the things in the bags that really kind of have the flavor of your company. We can get very creative with you and work with you based on what your branding objectives are this year. Signage and banners are always hugely popular, and the space at McCormick Place has a lot of great natural light, so we can work with you on defining some signage opportunities there. As far as print and digital advertising, earlier we gave you kind of a high-level look at the 300,000 people who are visiting our website just in a campaign year, and obviously the traction we get on our website ramps up tremendously when we get closer to the event. So there's lots of advertising and different ways you can get visibility within my Bio. Regarding our print brochures, we have a campaign that we essentially have already kicked off, starting with this campaign to give you guys information about the call for sessions. But we do a number of brochures, as I'm sure you're aware, and on-site guides, and the Biotech Now Show Daily, which is kind of your on-site news that's distributed to attendees. So there's actually a couple opportunities for you there, both from an advertising and from an editorial and awareness piece. So we do do a kind of an open call for Show Daily articles, and that's after the new year is when we typically do that call. So as far as where you can get visibility, some of the examples from last year are online, and the URL is there for you. So we'll be in Chicago. We're very happy to return to Chicago. The last time we were there was in 2010, and so we can work with you if you're looking to make a splash at the airport or around the city or in hotel rooms. So I've talked a lot about branding and a lot about the staff that's on here at Bio. We have a team of 20 or more, depending on how you define it, that's working year-round to support your initiatives and your business objectives at Bio. So we talked about call for sessions, company presentations, branding, but then our media support is really, really important here. And as far as getting awareness around the session, we will be doing a webinar to help you make sure that you're using free touch points that we have available to you. And obviously the media is watching. Bio is, our Twitter traction and the exposure that we get to a number of media outlets is very impressive. So we definitely recommend that you use our resources that are available to you. So also available here are just sponsorship and exhibiting and promotional opportunity information for you. So here is the additional contact information for sessions or speakers or company presentation information that you may need. Again, the call for session opens in a few weeks, August 23rd, and it closes September 27th. So if you have any questions in the meantime or any questions as you are working at your proposal, please feel free to ask us. I am open to taking questions now. We have a few minutes left, approximately 25 minutes left. And if there aren't any questions, the next big kind of date that we're working towards is registration and housing. So housing is usually number one on people's list as far as getting in hotels sooner rather than later. We think that that's a good idea. So that opens October 17th. And I think that that's it. The next thing that you want to look for from us is the next in our webinar series. So stay tuned for that. It'll likely be around exhibiting and kind of the key opportunities there, and that will be in October. And I just wanted to say thank you for your time today. We appreciate your support of the BIO International Convention. We obviously couldn't do it without you, and we look forward to seeing you in Chicago next year.